It is a delight to talk with you today, Barbara Frederick.
Yes.
And if I may call you Barb.
Oh, yes, you can.
Yes. I've called you Barb ever since I've known you, and that's been quite a long time.
Yeah.
Because you've been here at the DLC for how many years?
26. I think it'll be 27 in May.
My.
Yeah.
So you preceded Nilda, didn't you?
Yes. Yes.
Who was the director of the resident services, or was it even?
Sister Helen Walsh was in charge of activities when I started here.
Oh.
And I had to laugh. I looked at a few of the questions, and so I wrote out a few things, and I said, Helen Walsh practically hired me on the spot.
So you're from Adrian, I presume?
Yes, yes.
And was there an ad in the paper or word of mouth?
Yes, I had left Provincial House. I'd been there for 10 years as activity director there. But 10 years before that, I had just came back to town, and they were looking for nursing assistants here. So I worked about a year and a half as a nursing assistant here.
So you knew the place?
Yes.
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 And it was just called Maria at that time?
Yeah, Maria Healthcare. Yes. And much smaller.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
We didn't have the 2 editions of 2 South, 3 South.
Right, right.
Yes.
In fact, you didn't even have that when I came back and worked in activities. Yeah.
Smaller dining room, smaller chapel.
Oh, yeah, because they had the little gift shop on the side of the dining room. And seems like it was the Lavoie, at least one of those Lavoie sisters that always kind of like puttered around in there and took care of that.
Oh, that's fine. And then June Howard did it. Sister June Howard did it.
I think so,
at a point, just before the renovation.
And was it June Howard? I think it was June Howard that was doing the senior sisters at the time. Yes.
Yeah.
And and they mostly just went on trips and things like that. So.
Yeah, she lived at Regina and organized all of that.
Oh, yeah.
Which is what you do today.
Yes.
Yes.
Mostly the department. I have my own special spot now. I work primarily on 1 Maria and garden level. So I work with the memory support sisters, and I love it. I love it.
I don't know of a nurse or aide that I haven't heard they love working on the garden level. And I don't know about first floor, but I presume it's the same.
Yeah, they're a little bit different. The atmosphere's a little bit different, but we're all similar, right?
Yes, 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 yes. And beautiful sisters, beautiful individuals.
Oh, yes.
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 And each one is an individual.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And they can let me be a little crazy. And
they probably like that.
Yeah, and they laugh along with me, so.
Yeah. But when you first came, those many years ago, where were your offices? Or did you have space at that time?
Well, we didn't have individual space, but what is now the laundry was open, and they had, we each had they use them for the desk now. We each had a desk with the drawers on the side, you know. And we also, and Sister Leon Grace also had her kiln in there.
Oh, my.
So, and I hadn't thought about her in years till you had just said that. And so she did her, her ceramic work there. And then across the hall was the big activity room.
Oh, my.
And that's how it was. And the porch. I miss that porch sometimes. I mean, it was simple. It was, just screened in wood. But the sisters, after the morning program, a lot of times would go out there and sit, and just watch the day come in.
Do the sisters on the garden level do the same thing? When the weather's nice, I presume.
When the weather's nice, yes. We have a reflective garden aid. Well, 2 of them, they're not here the same day. And they take the sisters out there, and they just absolutely, love it. And I don't know whether this is proper to say it or not, But the wonderful thing is if you take a memory support sister out there and she just is in awe of the garden, a couple days you can take her out again and it's an all new experience for her.
Oh, how beautiful.
So, I mean, that's the best thing is just to see those faces light up.
Yes. It's Mother Earth and its growth and the fresh air.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And hearing the birds and the flowers have always been so beautiful too. Yes. Yeah. Who's deceased now that you remember serving in the garden level?
Oh, that lived there, you mean?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Frances Annette. And I have to talk about Frances Annette because when I started here, I worked like all 3 different shifts when I worked as a nursing assistant. And she also worked here as a nursing assistant. And sometimes she would get so frustrated at me on second shift because she had her own way of doing things and I had my own way of doing things. But we got along, you know. But it's just, I can remember her saying, "Barbara, you just frustrate me sometimes." And I said, "Well, sister, you frustrate me too," you know. And then we'd hug and kiss and that would be the end of it, you know. But yeah, and she was one that I remember that actually realized when her memory was going and she wanted to live there. She wanted to be with sisters that, you know, she felt that she belonged there. But just a speedy little thing, you know.
It wasn't called the garden level at the time. It's called
Veritas. Yes, Veritas. Yes.
And wasn't there a sister from the cloister that was in our memory loss unit and died there?
Yes, and I can remember when, say
Phyllis?
stubborn, when she would get stubborn, let me say, or let's say didn't feel that she should go with the plan at the time. They'd say to her, well, we talked to your mother superior today, and she said that you should do that. And then, of course, you know, she would do it.
They were so good about visiting her, the sisters from Farmington.
Oh, yes.
Yes, they became close friends.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And then Phyllis, but she, Socorro, who wasn't Phyllis when she was in the cloister. I don't remember. It seems like her name was, I don't remember.
I forget.
Yeah, I forget too.
But she was the driver.
Yeah, yeah. And it was always nice to see her too, because I had known her before she had left and went to the cloister. So.
Well, when did they move your office out of what is now the laundry room in the ground floor?
I am thinking that they did that when they did the renovations. I'm trying to think if they did the south side and they did the laundry. I mean, a lot of that stuff occurred around the same time. It took a long time, of course.
Well, when you first started out, were you the only one that worked with Sister?
No, I wanted to make sure I talked about this while we were talking too. No, Sister Betty Jenkins and Mary Alice Nauer and Alice Marie Lucina was all part of the department. I don't know what I would have done when I came here, you know, without them, because
so you were the first non-sister?
I think I was. I think I was the first one. But not being of the Catholic faith, I had to start from ground zero, you know, and learn that before, you know, I could feel I could use a lot of my other talents, because it was different clientele than I had ever worked with before.
There was more prayer, more rituals.
Yes, and more tradition. Yeah, you know, the traditions were, you know, different to me. But Helen Walsh was so, she'd tell me, she'd say, now just take a couple hours today, she said, and go over to Madden Hall and just get yourself lost.
Oh my.
You know, she said, visit the archives, visit the library, visit upstairs, just wherever you want to go, just wander.
See what we're about.
Yeah,
and
learn about us. And a lot of that, and a lot of questions of Betty Jenkins. I must have pestered her constantly with questions.
Why?
Yeah. Well, why do you do this? Or why do you do that? And what's the difference between, you know, a sister and an associate and, you know, just the whole realm of everything.
And candidates and postulants.
Yes.
And
Yeah. And why don't they call them this anymore? And, you know, why did you do this? And just all the time I was pestering her with questions.
20-some years ago, there were many of our sisters who still wore the habit.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And, oh, my goodness, I can't believe I can't remember her name. The one that always wore the long habit and the long veil and very thick glasses. You've got to help me out here. And when she would go look at something on a board, she'd take her glasses and she'd tip them a little bit like this. Oh, that's terrible.
That's okay.
But she had a huge 10-decade rosary, and she always wore it.
15 decade.
Okay, in her belt. And she was always getting it tangled up. And so...
that was one of your jobs.
Yes, and Adrian would bring it to me. And
Adrian Higgins?
Adrian Higgins, yes.
A dear.
Oh, yes. Her and I used to take her, when we would go shopping and maybe only have one person, I would take her shopping and we'd go out to the mall. And at that time they had Woolworths or something out there, and we would just shop for hours. I had more time. I could do something like that then, you know. In fact, I still have a Christmas tree that she gave me before she died. Just a little miniature one that we got at Woolworths. That she said, I want you to have this.
What a happy memory.
You know, so I can keep it here. So it wasn't a gift. It was a decoration for my room. So I have it. I have it here.
That's a wonderful,
yeah.
wonderful memory.
Oh.
Yes. So you've seen many, many changes in your time here, and was Nilda did she follow Helen?
Yes, yes. When Nilda came, they changed the structure of the department because before it was just activities. And then before Nilda came, they changed it so that it was resident services then and incorporated a little bit more, which ended up being a whole lot more.
I know, that page of duties has expanded. It's not probably 9 pages.
Yeah, really,
yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and she started about 2 years, I think it was about 2 years after I was here.
So you've seen the growth, not only in your department, but in the number of co-workers even here.
Yes.
And the expansion of the dining room, the expansion of the chapel.
Probably also this expansion of the community, too, because, and I was here for 2 of the, oh, isn't that terrible? Where they gather all the sisters from all over the country here.
Yes.
What am I trying to say? All I can think is the sunflower burst one year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so I was here for both of those.
Oh.
Or for 2 of those, too.
Oh, major.
Yeah. Renewals.
Yes.
I don't know what else to call them. I think they did.
One was called Transformations.
Yes.
And the big meetings were held across the street in the sports building.
Yeah, we transported. Some of that was with golf carts, some of it was with car. But I remember that the Edmonds were, I think, still testing the water at that during the last one. And I can remember that when we would take them, sometimes they would ask us, well, you know, do you normally do this, you know? But we wanted to be so welcoming, even though I'm not an Adrian Dominican, I wanted to be welcoming, and I wanted them to feel that, oh, when you merge, it'll be a good experience for you, you know. So
you're talking about our sisters who are out from the state of Washington, Dominican Sisters.
Yes.
And they finally did merge.
Yes.
I bet you were happy to.
It was different. It was, but I knew that there was a community that was dwindling in numbers, and to have the strength that I think they both needed to continue, because the Adrian Dominicans, right. I mean, you're still quite large, but your numbers are going down too.
Yes.
You know.
But we have the beauty of our young sisters in the Philippines.
Yes.
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 many of whom we've had an opportunity to meet. That's for sure. I would imagine, I've never seen your office, but you must have a secret place where you keep all of your wonderful, I don't want to say toys, but instruments for activities. And it's not, instruments isn't the right word. But what? Give me an example.
Tools of the trade?
Thank you. Tell me one of your favorite tools of the trade.
Oh, I actually, you know, if you've ever seen my office, you know that it's, you know, most people say, how can you ever find anything? But I have my own system. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I have a favorite tool of the trade. I think I enjoy taking activity and flexing it so that it'll work for the sisters that I work with. I have a little crazy, a few things that people, when they look at it, they think that it's a little crazy, but you know, it seems to work. It mm-hmm. seems to work. I mean, I have some dice and some pennies that I adapted from left, right, center game. I don't know if you've ever heard of that before, but somebody had put on, I'm bad about taking things from the giveaway table, but they'd put some kind of like rubber dice or foam dice mm-hmm. on there, and I'd made them where you could see the numbers or the spots better. Mm-hmm. And when the sisters throw them, I have them throw them on the floor. And they're like, you just want me to throw this on the floor? You know? Yes. And they have so many pennies and they lose or they gain pennies. And it's just a silly little game, you know, but you'd be surprised, you know, it's like, ooh, I got a lot of pennies here, you know, or I'm about out of pennies, and I always tell them, don't worry, I said the bank will loan you at interest, you know, and they think that's funny, anything to make them laugh. Oh my. So.
Well, you bring such joy to our sisters. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I think I speak for all of our sisters in the congregation. I mean, you've really devoted your ministerial life to our sisters.
Well, thank you.
Yes, and I know you'll continue to do that. And so blessings on the way.
Thank you.